fingers crossed.
Can anything go wrong though?
It could, anything can go wrong. We're working with a piece of machinery, but it's very reliable and hopefully everything will go fine in a couple of minutes' time.
Alright, well I can see they're almost going to come through, so I'm going to get out of your way and let you get on with your job. Eric, good luck.
Thanks very much.
Thank you again.
Well, those bascules will be moving very shortly. Of course, all of those craft totally and utterly dwarfed by HMS Belfast, which was commissioned in 1938, 91,000 tons, the largest cruiser in the Royal Navy. So not too much wind, Tom. Everything looking pretty good so far.
No, I mean it really has worked out for the best. I can't believe how lucky we've been, because the weather forecast looks extremely iffy. Nobody could have really predicted what was going to happen with the weather front that was hanging around over London. But isn't it great to see all these boats rowed by these fine, strong people going past HMS Belfast? They could have crewed her in World War II, couldn't they? They'd have been signed up, wouldn't they? And here they are, celebrating the Queen instead.
Might have taken quite a few oars to shift 91,000 tons, however. We just saw the Shard in the background, tallest building in Western Europe, just beginning to take shape. It's supposed to be completed this summer, when summer eventually comes to our country. Certainly there's going to be a fabulous view from the top of that.
The pictures we're getting of the overhead view of the boat shows the diversity of the boats and how hard they've had to work to stay together, really, because some of those boats are fast and some of them are seriously slow, and yet they've done it. Look at them, all these different vessels.
There are some magnificent craft there, and a huge variation of boats too.
Yeah, that's the wonder of it, really, to me. You see, some of these war canoes could really fly, and some of the right boats. We've got the original, replica of the original boat race boat in there that could absolutely fly up this course. They'll be struggling to keep it down to 4 knots. There's a Cornish gig. She can do 8 knots on a good day too.
Well, salute to the Queen. Those drawbridges, or the bascules as we now know they're called, will be raised to their full extent in honour of the chief guest on the River Thames today. Of course, these craft have already been past Tower Bridge, and we heard a lot earlier on in the programme about the muster. In other words, the bringing together of all the craft ready to take part in the pageant. What happens to them afterwards, Tom?
Well, they disperse into their various places, and the organisation for even that tour has been fantastic, because you think about all those boats, they all pile at the same beach at the same time. It'd be absolute chaos, but it's not going to happen. The whole thing has been planned absolutely to a T, but it was nice seeing those Venetian gondoliers, wasn't it? Just sort of standing on their oars for a bit. They'll be pretty wrecked after that, actually.
Tower Bridge has always been best known for its impressive, very impressive central drawbridge, despite the fact that it has a medieval appearance. The drawbridge was built to be operated by the most advanced technology available in the 19th century, and that was hydraulic power. Flags of the Commonwealth once more, still flying proudly. On top of those Trinity 500s, buffing their caps as they pass the Royal Barge. Royal Barge, of course. Here we are. Some of the guests are sheltering from the rain. Of course, the weather is the one thing that nobody has got any control of at all. The Queen, of course, is head of state in 16 of the 54 Commonwealth member countries, all of them now fully independent, which apart from the UK, she is represented by a Governor-General. I promise you, those bascules will lift in just a couple of moments' time. $1,200 tons each arm, if you like, or each drawbridge section of the Tower Bridge weighs, can be raised to their fullest extent of 80 degrees in an amazing 60 seconds. And the dispersal now begins. A lot more boats to come through Tower Bridge, obviously, and they'll all be watched eventually by the Queen when she leaves the Royal Barge. But the weather really has deteriorated, Tom.
Yeah, the rain's coming down now, but mercifully it doesn't seem to have produced a lot of breeze to go with it. Interestingly, we've seen one or two smaller boats being taken in tow by the bigger ones, which was all part of the plan. There we go, look. And it's great to see what good spirits people are in when they're being towed. There's no sense of humiliation because there's no failure here. This has been a tough row into this east breeze. If it had been any more than this, they'd have had to scratch the event for the rowing boats, but they've muscled it out, and huge credit to them, even the ones that have ended up on the tow.
I'm sure some of the active rowers this week see one of the many music sections in the pageant. I'm sure a lot of the rowers will probably appreciate the tough challenge that lay ahead and will be very satisfied with what they've achieved so far.
Well, yeah, because most of these boats are not racing skiffs. Some of them are actually working boats that were built to carry stuff, which are really heavy to row. There's a Yorkshire Cobbler there, and that's very heavy to row, I can tell you that personally. And there's a trove from the rivers of the Western England that was built to carry cargo. A very, very heavy load indeed to row.
Well, we just saw a brief glimpse there of Handel's water music being played by the Academy of Ancient Music on board the Edwardian. Quite appropriate, really, under the circumstances. We saw a glimpse of the new home of London government as well. City Hall on the south side of the River Thames. The home, of course, now of Boris Johnson for a further term. He's on the river too somewhere. The gentleman who received the Victoria Cross, Mr. Johnson Bahari. I've seen him on television a few times, but what an achievement. At some cost too, I have to say, but the VC holder aboard the Sapele. And the pageant is simply full of music. On board the Valula there, just one of the bands of Her Majesty's Royal Marines. There's a couple of bands on the river today. Heard them giving the Queen a fanfare a little while ago too. And right at the back end of the parade, we'll be finishing off with some very special music delivered by the London Philharmonic Orchestra. So 30 musicians from the band of the Royal Marines there, led by Principal Director of Music, Lieutenant Colonel Grace. HMS Belfast is about to be flanked by the Royal Barge, and the Royal Barge is about to receive a very impressive salute from some of the personnel on board. Veterans and sea cadets on board HMS Belfast. We get off to a bit of a false start with the baskets, but they are about to be lifted for the Royal Barge. What a sight. An extraordinary machine lifting an extraordinary road into the sky. Once again, the Royal Marines trumpeters .
Now, Jim, how was that to cheer the Queen just then and have her acknowledge the HMS Belfast?
That was really wonderful. It's something that I never thought I'd see, but it's something that I'll always remember.
Now, Jim, you joined the Navy when you were 15 years old, and I was chatting to Jim earlier, and you told me some amazing stories. One when a torpedo hit your ship, you were thrown 60 feet into the air, dropped into the ocean, and then had to cling onto a dead shark until you were rescued. Was that enough to put you off diving?
No, I dived from 16 and a half until I was 85, and I've enjoyed every minute of it.
Well, it's lovely talking to you, Jim. Have a great day. We're going to chat to you some more later. John. Hello there, John. A little bit wet there, aren't you? Now, Jim, John, this ship is obviously a huge, huge ship, over 10,000 tonnes. But when it was out and you were serving on the ship, it was thrown around like a toy during its duties as the Arctic convoys.
She was 14,000 tonne, but since then the weight and the arm has been reduced on the ship, so that's why it's at 10,000. But many a time when we've been in the heavy seas, in the Barents Seas, on the Russian convoys, we were picked up. And just imagine, you see these high buildings, and there was rollers coming in on you. You think, oh God, she'll never get through that. But the old girl did, as we call that. You know, she did. You knew she just picked up like a toy. And you know that because you could hear the propellers turning at the stern of the ship.
Yeah.
So, and then she just got through. She weathered all the storms, yeah.
Yeah, I think the ship now weighs 11,500 tonnes, yeah, so it's a weighty ship. Have you enjoyed your day here today and cheering the Queen?
It's been fabulous. It was never, I must reiterate what my colleague, shipmate here, has said. Never in my wildest dreams do I ever see such a pageant as that. We've got a diamond pageant and we've got a diamond as the Queen.
We certainly have, John. Well, look, enjoy the rest of your day here today. And thank you very much, Jim, as well. Thank you, chaps. Thank you, gents.
Well, the bascule certainly work as the Spirit of Chartwell just has to make quite a tight turn now to bring it up alongside HMS President, sometimes described as the Stone Frigate. It's a naval shore establishment just located below Tower Bridge at St Catherine's Dock.
Well, as you've probably seen, it's getting a little bit wet, and if it wasn't wet enough, we've got all the working ships coming through. A fire boat going there, spraying the crowd, having a great time. You've probably noticed that it's all slowed down a little bit. We've got a bit of a backlog coming through Waterloo Bridge here, as some of the rowers are just getting off the water towards Tower Bridge, but still a great atmosphere. Just look at them up there on the Pride of London, even in the kitchen. Can you see them down below in the kitchen? They may be making sandwiches, but they're still getting a good view up there. What a wonderful atmosphere. National Theatre over in the background. They're still enjoying it here. They are getting, I have to say, a little bit tight as they come through Waterbridge. The marshals are telling them to slow down, be a little bit careful. Some of them, though, are still managing to blow their horn rather loudly. But they have to be, on a serious point, be very, very careful as they come through here. It narrows down. But I don't think they're worrying about going too slowly through here. They're having a great time and enjoying the whole reception.
Well, that's certainly part of the reason everybody is just slowing up a wee bit as the Spirit of Chartwell manoeuvres, as she did so beautifully when she joined the pageant from Chelsea Pier a little while ago. The Avenue of Sail in the background there, these were ships, of course, that had just moored. They couldn't come through Tower Bridge. As you can see, they've got very high masts on. So the Avenue of Sail awaits all of the ships as they come through Tower Bridge and head towards their dispersal points. Meanwhile, the Royal Barge is just negotiating the river at the moment. Beautiful shot there. And how difficult is it going to be for them just to moor up to the side of HMS President, Tom?
Well, I'm watching this manoeuvring actually, Paul, and it's remarkable. This is a very well chosen vessel. What he's doing appears to be defying gravity actually. It's very impressive. The whole boat's going sideways. Good man. I wonder what he's got in the way of bow thrusters and things. I'd love to see.
I think we'd better send you down there in a hurry. And you'd better ask him, but yeah, it's a great feat of engineering and great feat of seamanship as well to steer something that big in a relatively short space, in a relatively confined area, should we say, and that's why they're ship's captains and I'm not.
Well, I think, as I say, I think the vessel's been very well chosen, and certainly the master is handling it beautifully. Which you'd expect nothing else under the circumstances, would it?
But you would not want to crash with such a precious cargo, would you?
That would not be high on my list of priorities, no. It's something you'd want to avoid for all your life. He's got his fenders out, look, those big balls hanging down the side. Those that take the the initial crunch as he comes alongside, but I don't think it'll be a crunch. I think the way this chap handles the boat, I think you'd be able to put an egg down there. Her Majesty wouldn't even know she's come alongside. Nice work.
So salutes to the Queen and to the Spirit of Chartwell as she gets ready to deliver her cargo to HMS President in just a little while. Well, Albert Bridge is pretty much where we started. It was the first bridge that all of the pageant had to contend with as a Port of London Authority diver. I suppose that's the equivalent of the clear-up van, as they call it, at the end of the London Marathon.
It might be, but I think he's got one of the flags flying, actually, one of the Jubilee flags, so maybe he's part of the pageant. Who knows?
So HMS President completing the man and cheer to the Royal Barge and the Royal Family.
That breeze has dropped right away now, but it's such a critical thing, the wind on the water. We always think these chaps just manoeuvre their boats and there's nothing in it, but he'll be very glad that it's not blowing hard. You can see the flags are just hanging limply almost. It's moving in sideways. You can't really do that with a boat normally. It's very clever.
Just at the side of the Tower Bridge there, another part of the Royal Squadron, the William V. That is a very, very clever bit of manoeuvrability that the Spirit of Chartwell has undertaken there. Absolutely perfect so far. I just hope I haven't put the kiss of death on it now, but such precision.
No, it's a pleasure to watch, isn't it? I bet some of the other people in the flotilla would be pleased if they could handle their boats like that.
I can't even park my car as carefully as that.
No, well, I think the thing is, people don't realise that boats do not drive like cars because the whole medium they're working in is moving around all the time. If you stop, they tend to blow about. So nice to see there's no breeze, but there will be a little bit of current moving past there. And if you look at the bottom of the pontoons, you can see there's some movement on the water, a little bit of a sea running.
So the royal party will be watching the remainder of the pageant from the first floor of HMS President. Well, I think the captain of that ship can be very pleased with his day's work.